So I really struggled in school, and and because we were always moving, like it wasn't consistent, because it was like I would go to one school and then I would leave that school and go to another one, and we were learning something completely different than at the other school.
And what came to your mind? Like, what happened at that time exactly? Like, you thought about this, like, I need to do this.
That pain probably played a role in that as well, because as I got older and I had more pain from other accidents and things like that, that absolutely played a role in not wanting to be in my body, because that pain is so constant. Chronic pain is just like somebody just like poking you all day, and sometimes it's really intense pain, sometimes it's really dull pain, but it's still pain and it's constant. And she left the home in the middle of the night and drove down the street and committed suicide in her car.
Welcome back to the Iamverse Podcast family. Hi, I'm Roshni, your host, and today we are going to bridge the gap between the body and the mind. Okay, and today we have a very special guest whose name is Raven, and she runs a very well-known business, Raven Luna Wellness. Right, Raven?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, welcome, Raven.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
Yes. So, Raven, can you tell me something about yourself, about your background?
Yes. So I have been on a healing journey over my lifetime, and I've had a few injuries and illnesses that I've had to overcome. And during and through those illnesses and injuries, I've learned how to better support my body and better give my body what it needs and help reduce pain and stiffness. And so now I provide that for other people in my business. So my business is Raven Luna Wellness, and I coach people on wellness, but I also do fascia release. So I'm a fascia release practitioner. So basically it's a type of body work that addresses fascia within the body, and fascia is the connective tissue throughout the entire body that holds our body together and gives our body shape, but it also connects all of our bones and ligaments and things like that, but it also separates things like our organs. So it's around all of our organs, it's around all of our bones, like it's in every part of our body, and it is very, very important, and it has a lot of roles that it plays in the body. But whenever you address the fascia, a lot of times you'll have more space in your body, you'll feel less pain and more flexibility, range of motion, things like that.
Okay. So, Raven, you said that in your bio, I can read that your bio says you help people hurt less.
Yes.
There is a huge conversation online right now about how the body keeps the score.
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain to our audience about that?
Yes. So throughout our lifetime, we have lots of different traumatic events, whether they're emotional trauma or physical trauma, any sort of trauma. And as those things happen to us, our body responds. And a lot of times, whenever we are not processing those emotions in a healthy way and releasing them, they will get stuck somewhere in the body, and they'll repeat those patterns over and over again. And it's kind of like this physical record of the trauma that we've experienced in our bodies.
Okay. Why did this bring this to this business? Like, why did you come to this business? Like, what happened in your life so that you thought of this kind of business, a wellness coach? What was your past life?
Yeah.
And how was it all about?
So I didn't always know that I wanted to do body work or any sort of healing or wellness types of businesses. Like, I never expected to run my own business either. But, you know, the journey of life kind of takes you on a path that you're not expecting. But whenever I was 12 or 13, I fell out of a second-story window. And I had injured myself at that point. My family and I were moving to a new home, and the windows in the upper level came really close to the floor, and they opened up really, really high. And we had opened the windows up because it didn't have air conditioning. And so whenever I was moving my bed into my room with my friend, we had opened the window, and I was backing up to get out of the way of the mattress coming down on the bed frame, and I backed and tripped over the windowsill and fell out of the window. So I injured myself there, and so I had chronic pain for a while then. And then as I got older, I had multiple car accidents and lots of things like that. So I had lots of chronic pain that I didn't really know how to deal with. And I went to doctors, I went to physical therapy, I went to massage. I think I did massage like every week for 7 years after one of the car accidents that I had. And it did help, but it was very, very small gains in feeling better. And so whenever I went to see a very, very specific fascia release practitioner, I realized within the first session how impactful it was. And I kind of went back to my car after the session and just cried because I had hope again that I could actually feel normal again. And so I decided maybe like 5 or 6 sessions in with seeing her that I wanted to learn how to do it and provide that service for other people and teach people how to do that as well for themselves. Some of the techniques are pretty easy to learn, but some of them are a little bit more advanced, and so they need a little bit more trained eye for that kind of thing, and that's what I provide.
So you did a course for that?
I did a certification.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know your story, like a little bit about you.
Yeah.
I heard that you thought of suicide thing in your life, like you thought of suicide, and what is that story all about?
Yeah, so it's actually part of my story of how I found Master. I've struggled with depression since a very young age. I think I was probably around 13, maybe 14, and it might have something to do with that accident that I had, because pain does play a role in our mental health, and I didn't really think about that until just now, this conversation, but it started around whenever I was like 12 or 13, maybe 14, and I just remember feeling very, very isolated, very alone, not really feeling like I was feeling how other people seemed to present that they were feeling. And I never really shared that with anybody, not until I became an adult. But I struggled with it for a long time.
But why? I mean, just asking because do you have any siblings?
I do. I have 2 brothers from the same mom and dad. And then my parents are divorced, so I have 2 other siblings that are half siblings, so they're from different, so they'll have the same dad and a different mom.
So do you connect with them? Like,
I do, yeah. Okay. We kind of live all over.
And what about your childhood life? Like, you used to talk to them?
I did talk to some of them. So one of them grew up in a different state on my dad's side, and then one on my mom's side grew up in another state too. So the ones that I grew up with were my 2 brothers that had the same mom and dad, and those are my younger brothers. So we grew up in a divorced household, and so we didn't see my dad a little bit in the beginning of that for very much time, and then both of my parents struggled with addiction, and so it was really rough kind of growing up with that lifestyle. A lot of times, especially whenever my mom was single and she was dealing with her addictions, and also trying to work and support us kids, like things were a little bit rough. So there were times where things were, it was needs were not met. There wasn't a whole lot of quality time with them either. So I think I just really struggled with that, with all that comes with that. So, and then I think it just really made it difficult for me to process my emotions. And like we discussed earlier, the body keeps the score. I think I just didn't know how to process those emotions as a child. I think in my mind, there was the issue or the event that was happening, and whether it was we needed food or we needed, somewhere warm to stay or whatever it was that we needed, it was like the emotions that I felt about it didn't really fix the problem. So in my mind as a child, I was like, well, I don't know what to do with these, so I'm just going to put those over there and I'm going to fix this problem. I was the oldest, and so sometimes it was on me to do some of those things. So whenever, as I grew older and I didn't deal with these emotions. They all just kind of like were trapped inside of me. And so as I got older, it's kind of like this glass of water, like you have, right? And you keep filling it with more and more and more and more and more and more of emotions. And at some point, the glass is full and it comes pouring out over the top, and there's nothing else that you can do. And so at some point, it causes a lot of chaos in the mind, and at some point you want some sort of escape. And so I feel like that's whenever those thoughts would come in. Not that I ever had a plan to do anything, but I definitely wanted to. But it was not something that I was willing to actually take action on. But I do understand, people who have and who do, because I've been there and I know how hard that is to like dig yourself out of.
So did you have friends in your childhood?
I did. It was hard to stay connected with people because we moved a lot. So I went to several different schools. I don't really even remember some of them because we were moving a lot, and so it was hard for me to stay connected with friends and like build those friendships and maintain those friendships. So like I think I've got maybe a couple of friends maybe from like 5th grade that will kind of talk on like Facebook and things like that, but I've always struggled with relationships since that because there was not like a great foundation for relationships for me. So
you never shared anything, your secrets, anything with anyone else?
Not that.
You were all into yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And wow. I mean, your siblings, you were not close. I mean, not that close. I mean, not to share things with them, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. That's why you went into isolation?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the thing?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
That's how the trauma came in?
Yeah. So I didn't know how to process those emotions. There's not really like a great, example of that in my life. But I also found it hard to connect with people on a deeper level and be vulnerable because it didn't feel safe to me because I feel like in the environment that I grew up in, relationships often didn't feel safe.
And how was your school life?
I don't...
Classmates?
Yeah. I don't really remember a whole lot of it. I did struggle also in school because of that lack of support at home and like foundation. I also have pretty severe ADHD, which makes it really difficult for me to pay attention and focus and absorb information sometimes. And so whenever I didn't have that support at home, it made it all the more difficult to really learn in that environment. So I really struggled in school, and and because we were always moving, like it wasn't consistent, because it was like I would go to one school and then I would leave that school and go to another one, and we were learning something completely different than at the other school. So it was like never consistent enough for me to like grasp anything. So I really struggled in school. Yeah.
Okay. So that's why you did not
There's a
want
lot
to
of
make
things.
friends
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's so emotional.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so this is why you, like, at the age of 15, right? You thought of the suicide thing?
It was probably closer to 13.
30.
Yeah.
Okay. And what came to your mind? Like, what happened at that time exactly? Like, you thought about this, like, I need to do this.
I think, I mean, I didn't really have a plan to do it, but I just remember feeling so low, so lonely and isolated, and just in a lot of pain, like emotional and mental pain. I just remembered feeling like I couldn't connect with people very well, and I just felt really alone, and I wanted some sort of relief from that. And as a 13-year-old, you don't even really know what that means. You just feel like you don't want to be here anymore. You just feel like you don't really want to exist anymore. And as a 13-year-old child, like that's a really big concept as well. And as I got older, I understood it more and more. But as a child, you're just kind of like, I don't understand like what this means or what this feeling is, but I know that I don't feel right and I don't feel good and I don't want to be here. Like I don't want to be anywhere that is here on this earth because it's so painful.
So what happened? Okay, this I got it, like, okay, that's what's painful for you, and then you thought of like doing the suicide thing. But what was this exactly like? The suicide thing, how, like, I have no experience about it.
Yeah, and there are definitely
So-
people who haven't, and that's
Yeah.
really wonderful for them, and I'm super glad that there are people on this earth who don't experience that. But yeah, I can understand why it would be hard for you to like put yourself in that situation to like understand where it comes from. And to be honest, I don't think that it was any one thing. I don't think it was like this thing happened and then I just wanted to just not exist anymore. I think it was just a compounding of all of these things of like not having present parents and not having a good, fair education because of the lack of support that I had. And I think it was, not having food sometimes and not having safe shelter sometimes. And I think that it was just like a number of things. And then like probably the injury on top of that, like as I said before, like I hadn't really thought about it, but that 13 I fell out of that window, and then around 13 is whenever I feel like I started having those emotions and those thoughts and those feelings. And it doesn't surprise me looking back now that pain probably played a role in that as well, because as I got older and I had more pain from other accidents and things like that, that absolutely played a role in not wanting to be in my body, because that pain is so constant. Chronic pain is just like somebody just like poking you all day, and sometimes it's really intense pain, sometimes it's really dull pain, but it's still pain and it's constant, and it doesn't matter what you do, you can't really get rid of it, and it makes everything harder. Like it kind of takes up some of your bandwidth. So like it makes it hard to like focus, it makes it hard to like think about things, it makes it hard to do chores, it makes it hard to do like work, it makes it hard to do like, it makes it hard to like focus on anything. And it's just kind of like this nagging thing that kind of takes over. And I think that that played a huge role in my mental health, but I don't think it was any one thing or one event. I think it was just like a compound of things and events. So.
And then how did you change your life, like after the suicide thing? When, like, what happened in your life which brought you from survival mode to the mode right now, like the safest mode right now you have it? Like, what happened?
So
What did you see, or what happened? Like, okay, what positive vibration you got? Okay, no, this is not me. I need to change my life.
yeah, so I think that I'd felt that way for so long that I just it was my normal. So I didn't think that it was ever going to change. I didn't think that it was even possible to change. I didn't think that it was ever going to go away. And it wasn't until I started doing some of the programs with Master and started doing yoga. Yoga was a huge piece to that. But I think as I got older...
How did you come across Master?
So after I had lost somebody that was really close to me to suicide, they actually lived with me. It was my sister-in-law, and she left the home in the middle of the night and drove down the street and committed suicide in her car. And that really was...
Suicide or accident?
Suicide, yeah. And that
Okay.
was really devastating for me and my family. And it really played on my depression, and it really just like turned it up, like amplified it, because anytime anybody commits suicide, it's almost like this poison that just spreads to everyone that lost that person. And so whenever that happened, sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
It really intensified how I was feeling and what I was already going through. And there were many conversations that her and I had before she decided to do that. where I was trying to talk her out of it, many, many nights. We all knew that she was struggling, and we were trying to support her. But when somebody decides to do that and make that decision, there's not really anything that anybody else can do. And the night that she chose to do it, she did it in the middle of the night, did not wake anybody up, because sometimes she would wake me up and we would talk. And she drove down the street, and she didn't call anybody that lived in the area. The people that she called were, miles and miles away. So she wasn't asking for help. She was saying goodbye. And so when she chose to do that, it really did kind of push me further into my own depression. And I was really, really struggling to get out of bed. I was really struggling to take care of my physical needs. There were lots of times where I wasn't eating. I think for a good few months, I lived on herbal tea and chocolate, but it was or nothing. And it was really, really hard for quite a while. And it wasn't until I was actually up at 3 a.m. and I was just searching for anything and everything on the internet, listening to TED Talks, things like that, just about mental health, and trying to get myself out of this rut of depression, because I was losing the battle. And I happened to come across one of Master's videos, and it was 3 a.m., and the video title was something like, "If you're awake at 3 a.m., here's what it means."
Wow,
and
miracle.
Yeah. So it was, it feels like divine timing, but it's also funny because the algorithm I know of YouTube will kind of feed you stuff.
Now you got to know that.
Right. But I also do think it's still divine. Even though there is an algorithm, I think that it's absolutely influenced by divine energies and things like that. So I think it's both. But I watched that video. That was the first video that I ever watched of Masters. And I just watched more and more and more, and every single video just really, really spoke to me and really made me think about things differently. And it hadn't really changed how I felt about my depression and things like that yet, but it was pushing me in that right direction. And so I think that was back in 2019, I think. And I think in 2020, so I'd been watching him for a while. In 2020, March 2020, I think it was March, he had...
During COVID?
Huh?
During COVID?
Yes, during COVID, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I think it was right before. But COVID was kind of it started out slow,
yeah.
and then it was really intense, but it was right before it got really intense in my area. And he had offered on the YouTube channel, he had offered a series of different mini courses. One of them was a 21-day yoga challenge. I know now he does 11 days, but then it was a 21-day yoga challenge, which is phenomenal and a really wonderful gift.
But were you into yoga and all that?
I did do some here and there, just in local studios where I lived, but nothing like nothing like Y for M. And it was definitely just very westernized and very easy and just relaxing. So I was familiar, but whenever he presented the 21-day yoga challenge, it was
online.
Yeah, it was online. So he was in London at the time. I was in Colorado in the US, and all of these programs that he was offering were online, but it was really to kind of help people through COVID, because he knew it was coming, and he knew that it was going to affect people, and he also knew, I think, that people were going to have more time. And so he offered all of these things to kind of occupy their time. And not everybody, not everybody was aware of those things, but the people who were aware of those things and signed up for those things, I think are really lucky and really fortunate, because they gave us all so much. I know for me, during that whole 21 days, I created like a little yoga space in my basement, and I just lived in my basement, just doing yoga with Master, and it was really, really great. And then at the end of the 21-day yoga challenge, then he offered a yoga teacher training. He did a basic yoga teacher training, and then he did an advanced yoga teacher training. And I decided to sign up for it because, like how we have that little voice inside, and you don't know why it tells you, but you're like, I think you should do this.
At that point of time, you were employed or unemployed?
So I was employed. So I am actually a host home provider, and in the state of Colorado, not every state in the U.S. has host home providers, but in the state where I live, they have host home providers, and it's kind of like, the easiest way I can explain it to people who don't know the services is it's kind of like a version of foster care for adults with developmental disabilities. So they're adults with like autism or Down syndrome or some sort of traumatic brain injury, and so they have a hard time caring for themselves or learning new skills and things like that. So I have individuals that will come and stay in my home, and I'll help take care of them or teach them skills.
At your place, they will come?
Yeah.
But how come, like you were totally certified for this, like to take care of them?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, we go through a lot of different trainings, and so we work on different skills in the home. So like we'll teach them cooking or doing their own laundry, or if they're not capable of that, then we do those things for them. Because some of them are more independent and they can do those things, and they just need to be taught how, and they just process things a little bit slower and a little bit differently. And so at some point they could live on their own, but they need some support and need some guidance on how to do that. And even if they do live in their own home, some of them can live completely independently, but some of them might need some assistance. So then somebody will go to their home and help them, take them to doctor's appointments or take them shopping for groceries or things like that. But the people that live in the host homes, they usually need a little bit more assistance. Sometimes they need bathing or medication or different things like that. So that was my job at the time. It's still my job now. I have multi things that I'm doing.
A job or your business?
That's my job. Yeah.
Okay.
So job. I have a business and then I have my job.
Oh wow, that's good.
Yeah.
So that time you were employed and you were working for someone?
Yes.
I mean, some of the company, and
yes.
then you used to take care of the people who has problem like autism, Down syndrome, and all that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it provided me a lot of time because they were at home. So I was basically working from home. So it gave me the opportunity to do all of those things with Master. And COVID also helped with that too, because it kind of slowed everything down. There wasn't a whole lot of things that were open. And so it provided me and a lot of people with a lot of time freedom. That was kind of maybe not something that people wanted necessarily, but I think it was really good for those that got to take advantage of that and teach themselves new skills or connect with their family and things like that. So.
And that time you came across Master's video, and then?
Yeah, I came across it the year before. I think it was the year before.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID hit, and then it was just
back-to-back events and all that.
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
And you started attending all of them.
Yeah, yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And wow, this is something different. You just saw a video and that's changed your life. Or?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Drastically. And it took time. It wasn't the next day,
yeah.
but it each video that I watched and each event that I attended and each word that Master spoke, it was just really healing and really empowering and really just exactly what I needed. It really did save my life, genuinely. Not that I think that I would have committed suicide, but you never know. Like, at some point, is there a breaking point where you just get so desperate that you just can't not do it? And that's, I think, what happened to my sister-in-law, is that she just was so desperate to feel some sort of relief from the pain that she was feeling that she just couldn't take it anymore. And it's like, well, where was that for me? Is there a point for that for me? Maybe, but I don't really know. But I do know that all of these programs, Iamverse, Master, the team, this community, has absolutely saved my life and turned so many things around for me, and really given me a lot of confidence and a lot of just really great skills and knowledge and support and so many things. So I'm so grateful. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you, Raven, how did you thought of opening your own business? Like, what came to your mind that you opened this Wellness Luna, being a coach, wellness coach? So
Yeah.
what is this like? How this all happened?
Yeah, so I decided to create my business, Raven Luna Wellness, after doing a lot of master's programs. So I think I started with yoga, but then I quickly went into, all of the other trainings that he was having. So it was just like speaker training and YouTube training, and I can't even remember the names of all of them, but they were all teaching us skills on how to build wealth and how to get online and how to basically just do all of these different things to kind of make yourself more self-sufficient. And so if it wasn't for all of these trainings and all of these skills, I probably would not have ever thought to make my own business. It was never on my radar. But as I learned all these skills, then I was like, oh, this is something that I could actually do. This is not out of my reach. And so like slowly but surely I just started doing like all the little things. Like I would get an LLC and I would get the EIN number, which in America is like the Social Security number for a business. And like I built a website and learned how to do that, and that was a big learning curve. But slowly but surely over time, I started to build this and create it, and now I'm like trying to figure out the marketing. So like I've got my website, and now I'm trying to like figure out like Facebook ads and Google ads and all that stuff. So I did hire somebody like a couple of weeks ago to help with that, just because there's so much knowledge in that. But a lot of those things I've also learned from Master, but some of them there's just like missing pieces just because it's new for me. So, but I don't think that I would have ever started my own business if it weren't for any of these trainings or courses that Master and the team have provided.
So what is this business all about, like wellness coach? Like what do you do there exactly? So that audience can relate to it and they can understand it.
Yeah. So basically what we're doing is we're looking at, and it is also very directed by the person. So basically we look at what goals they have health-wise, whether it's getting out of pain or moving more like freely in their body, or it's having less digestive issues or things like that. So whatever it is that their goals are, then we kind of focus on different things within their life that can help support those things. So like if we look at, how we move our bodies, what we feed our bodies, the emotional aspects, like when we are hanging out with people in our life, like are those people supportive in general, or are they like really negative and always kind of like bringing you down, like vibrationally, because we also look at like the vibrational frequency of everything in your life, because everything is energy is everything. And so when you look at the different pieces of your life, what kind of music are you listening to? And like I love all kinds of music, but if you always listen to things on the radio that are like lyrics that say like, oh, like I'm so lonely, or I'm so heartbroken, or all of these things, and it's like if you listen those on repeat, you're kind of like giving yourself these affirmations. So like we look at all of these different things to kind of like piece together some different puzzle pieces to maybe help support you holistically, because a lot of times people just think about like these, diet and exercise and things like that, but there are so many things, so many facets to health and wellness that people don't even think about. So what I like to do is I like to incorporate lots of different things. So like if you think about the people that you hang out with, and it's like we can't really cut out everyone in our life because we have family or we have like longtime friends, but you can definitely set boundaries and choose how much time you want to spend with the people that maybe are affecting your energy or affecting your health in some way. Whereas like you find more people, like a community where you are more supported, like in a healthier lifestyle, or they're more, positive, or they have a better mindset, because we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And Master has said that multiple times, and I've heard it before from other people as well, but it really is true. Like what we surround ourselves with, not just people, but food and exercise and music and all of these things, they play a role. So I like to kind of make sure that we're kind of looking at all the angles.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wow. This is something different.
Yeah.
Energy connection and
Yes.
all that music, what I listen to.
Yeah.
What people listen to. Okay.
Yeah, what you put like on your body, like even your clothing, like, and not that you have to like change everything like overnight, but baby steps, like just thinking about things a little bit differently.
So do you have a team for this, or do you do this by
It's just me.
Okay.
I'm a solopreneur, so I
that's
do all of
good.
it for myself. So I have to like muddle through some of those things like marketing and things like that, but actually physically doing the work is what I love to do, but I have to do some of the other things for now too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
Your story is inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
What you have gone through and what you're doing right now is totally a different thing.
Yeah.
You have changed so many people's lives because you were taking care of the people who were into autism, Down syndrome and all that. Before that, you thought of suicidal attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, the trauma thing. And now you are a wellness coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, wow,
Yes.
that's different, like totally different. Like think about it, like you think about it, guys. Like if she would have done the suicide at that time, what would have happened? Nothing matters,
Right.
actually. Nothing.
Right.
But right now you're changing so many people's lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you.
I
Yeah.
liked it. I hope even you like the story. And if you can connect with her, with Raven, then please comment down below that what is your story and how do you want to change your life. Okay. So, Raven, right now I'll just do a little bit of rapid fire
Okay.
to end the episode. And it's a fun thing.
Okay.
Okay. Just one word at a time.
Okay.
Okay. And don't think too much. Just
Yeah.
speak it whatever it said. Okay.
I am an overthinker. I'm warning you.
Don't overthink. Okay. One stretch everyone should do every day.
Ooh.
You are a wellness coach.
I am a wellness coach. There's so many. But I feel like the back is really important. And so if you can do stretches.
Can you show it?
Yes.
Just-
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
don't need to stand. Just
Okay.
from here.
So, our core is really important, and stretching out the back is really important both ways. So like you want to bend forward, so forward folds, and you want to bend backwards. So if you can get up against a wall and kind of take like 2 or 3 steps away from the wall, depending on how much support you need. The further away from the wall is less support, the more closer is more support. However, if you're too close, you're not going to have the space to bend backwards. But if you can kind of walk your palms down the wall, that's one of the techniques that Master had taught me, but this is one that I share with a lot of my clients because the back is very, very important. The core is really important, and our hips and pelvis are very important. But I would say that back is really a good start. But if you can strengthen and lengthen your back and stretch that and get more mobility in that back, you're going to have a whole lot more support throughout your entire body.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wow. Good knowledge.
Thanks.
Okay. Your go-to way to do stress in 5 minutes.
My what?
Your go-to way to do de-stress. De-stress.
Where do I go?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, like what do you do to de-stress yourself?
What do I do to de-stress? I really love taking walks. I love to walk in nature. If it's summertime and warm, like I love to kayak. Like kayaking is like one of my favorite things. I love the water. I love the trees. I call it tree therapy. So I love to be like in the woods hiking, but I love paddleboarding. So I love to be out on the water and just kind of sit there and like listen to the birds and listen to the water. Like that's one of my favorite things. But if it's too cold, then it's usually a walk or playing with my dogs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So sweet. Okay. Coffee, tea, or matcha?
I don't really do any of those. Water.
Wow.
I know.
That's good.
Yeah.
No juice, no like fresh juice and all that.
If I have juice, it's usually juice that I've juiced myself. I am a big fan of juicing. It's one of the tools on my journey. So like I am still on this journey of healing my body after doing things with my body, like diet and nutrition wise, that were not so good with my body. And so unknowingly, I caused a lot of damage for my liver and my organs and my kidney and things like that. And so for me, I'm on that journey of healing so that I can feel better in my body. But juicing, like real juice of real fruits and vegetables that you make yourself is really, really a great way to do that, because you're giving yourself lots of nutrition all at once, and your body can really absorb that and utilize it. So I'm a big fan of like juicing and getting a really good juicer. You want to get a masticating juicer because it keeps the fruit and vegetables from heating up and then losing some of the nutrition. If you're getting a centrifugal juicer or other types of juicers, it tends to heat the fruits and vegetables up and you lose some of that nutrition. So if I drink juice, it's usually something I've juiced myself. But outside of that, water.
That's good.
Yeah.
Pure. The biggest myth about wellness is?
Oh man.
One word. Myth.
There's so many. I'm not even sure that I can like think of one off the top of my head. I would say I'm not sure that it's a myth, but I think it's a belief. And I think a lot of people at some point, whenever they've suffered enough, they don't believe that they can heal. And I don't think that they believe that they can achieve wellness. And it's not true. Our bodies can do amazing things. They can come back from all kinds of crazy things. There was one story that I read about this woman who was hit by a train, and she was bound in a wheelchair, and through meditation, specific types of meditation, she was able to walk again. Like our bodies can come back from all kinds of crazy things. So if you are out there and you're in pain or you have some sort of chronic illness or injury, like you can heal. Like someday you will feel better. You just have to keep finding the different tools and puzzle pieces that are part of your healing journey, but you can absolutely heal.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's nice. Okay, last one. Complete the sentence. A healthy body creates
A more joyful life, a more fulfilled life. It really improves your whole life. They're all connected. Like our health, our wealth, our relationships, our connections, our purpose, our, what we give back to the community, it's all connected. And so if you're improving your health, you're improving all of those other aspects of your life, because if you don't have health, you can't do any of those other things. So it's foundation. It's basic foundation. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect, Raven. I loved it all your answers, all your things, what you have shared with us, with the audience. Thank you so much for joining us, Raven.
Thank you so much.
And guys, if you like the video, if you like what Raven has done in her life and what she has shared, all her story, if you think you can relate with the story, please comment below that yes, you relate with that. And if you have any story to share, please comment that also. And if you like it, like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much. Thank you.